My name is Adeyemi Adeniyi. They call me the #1 Bishop of Real Estate in Africa, and by privilege, the chairman of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter. It's such a great delight to be here. By His grace, we have seen a few things, and I will be sharing some of the experiences here today. Very clearly that I'm happy that we have this program in this school, University of Ibadan. This is one of the schools I long desired to come, but there was no means to come when I wanted to. What do I mean? There was no money to come at the time I desired to come. I have a very humble beginning, and that's how I want to start this session. I was a one-time organizer in Lagos on the roadside, and also a one-time bus conductor in Lagos. Some of you may not be from Lagos, so you may not understand what it means to be a bus conductor in Lagos, especially doing the routes of Ojota to Oshodi. Then you have an idea. I lost my father when I was barely 10 years old. That's more than 35 years now. From a polygamous home. Regardless of all, one thing that was motivating me was, I always tell myself, I want to be successful in life. I always say this, that your background is not the reason why your back is on the ground. If you made fortune at home, in your lineage or in your family, I want to tell you that if you don't work more to add to it, it will deplete and finish someday. How much more many people like me and many of us here who did not have any background, but who have made up their mind to say, notwithstanding my background, I want to see myself as the Joseph that my family has been waiting for. I'd like you to know that many of the uncles that you are depending upon for help, they also need help also. Many of the brothers that you call billionaires, they also need help. And I came up with this quote, that knowing a billionaire does not make you one of them. You can be close to Dangote, but you may not live a life of Dangote. Now let me say this, that one of the things that will help you, because I want to believe we have a larger audience from the student community, one of the best things you can do that will stand you out in life is to discover your purpose earlier in life and stop depending on others. I want you to know that the earlier you come out to begin to discover what you have been assigned to do on the earth, the better for you. As a student in the university where I had my first degree, I remember vividly that all I was looking for is how to meet a need. What are those things that people needed? If only you can provide solution to people's problem, I can tell you the sky is a starting point for you. Begin to look at a need. Begin to look at a need. I can tell you the Abraham Maslow's theory is real. And when you look at the bottom of the cadre, it talks about the basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. And now I can talk about an addition to it. When you look at the review, the fourth thing people spend money on is communication. People talk every day. MTN has made so much money in Nigeria, their first year of operation, than what they made in 10 years in South Africa. What am I saying? Go and look at the Abraham Maslow's theory. The basic need, there are three: food, clothing, shelter. But the addition now is communication. And look at how you can meet a need in that area. Whether they like your face or not, if you provide housing solution, people will buy from you. Am I right? Because everyone needs a roof over their head. 2, whether they like your face or not, if you cook good food, people will buy from you, whether they like you or not. Am I right? Now 3, whether they like your face or not, if you provide clothing for people to wear, especially when you are good at it, maybe a fashion designer or you are selling fabrics, they will patronize you. Am I right or not? And when you are into communication, that is, you are a distributor, or whether you decide to do a business center where people can make calls or sell recharge cards or e-recharge or whatever you do, people will patronize you whether they like your face or not. Am I right or not? Now, all other businesses outside that, they are good, but people must go for this 4 before they come to you outside this 4. Now, it is important for you to know that one thing that will make you unique in the industry is when you now begin to look at the extras that others are not doing. Many of my schoolmates, I was still sharing with some people yesterday in Lekki, and I told them, I said, I will never forget what one of my colleagues said to me when we went to check our results. When we finished our first degree, my background is economics, and so when we were checking the results and I saw my results, saw my name, my results, I was very happy. Now, and he made a statement. He called me to one side. He said, sir, he said, you are one of the most luckiest person I've ever seen on the earth. I said, please tell me why. Expatiate more. He said, that's, you are a student like me. You discovered yourself on time. You had a business in school, or you have a business in school. You've employed many of our colleagues in school. Now you finish with a good grade, and now you are graduating like me. You already know what you are called to do in life, and you are not confused like me that I am graduating today, I don't know where I'm going. Now that expression from that man will never leave me. It's important for you to know where you are going on time, because even the government you are waiting for, they're also waiting for you. I was with one of the commissioners in Ogun State on a courtesy visit with my team at Bread and Ogun State, and he said, I am happy that we have someone like you and your team on board. We are waiting for young people like you to come and create solutions to our problems in this state. A one-time conductor, a one-time organizer that was doing many jobs in people's houses, by the grace of God, a few weeks ago was honored with the biggest leadership award in the United States of America from the President of the United States. I want you to know that it doesn't take time, it only takes God. One thing you must do is this: everybody is using something. If you don't use something, somebody will use you for something. So you either use God or you use Satan. You can't be in the middle. But I advise you to use God, because his blessings make it rich and does not have sorrow. Now, that is the difference maker in the life of anyone. Because it is one thing for you to be hardworking. It is you being that gives joy. You can be in the same industry with any other person, but the only difference that will stand you out is the breath of God. As a Christian, I saw a place in the Bible where it is written that it is Paul that plants, it is Apollo that waters, but God is the only one that gives increase. You can be good, you can be a good farmer, but the output of your farm is not determined by you. There's one that will breathe on it. So, in all you do, don't leave God out of your equation. I told one of the people who invited me to speak on his platform, he said, MOG, you talk about God too much. I said, if you don't want me to talk about God, don't invite me again. Because when I was on the streets of Lagos looking for a way to survive, you were not there. The God who beautified my life, He beautified my life before you saw me. Meaning, if I refuse to follow Him again, you will not call me again. The following year, He still invited me again. What am I saying in essence? In all that you will learn from here today, please don't take God out of your equation. Because when you write the word grace, grace is God in the race of men. When you remove G from grace, the rest is race. And that is a race you will be running on a treadmill without making motion. You can run 30 kilometers on a treadmill, yet you didn't go anywhere. So that is why many people are struggling. Yes, you can be very eloquent, you can be smart, you can be intelligent, but please don't take God out of your race. Now, to one of the things that brought us here, primarily, the West African Real Estate Summit, beyond school certificates. Beyond school certificates. Let me tell you also that by His grace, I've never had a reason to use my certificate once in over 20 years. Meaning that certificate is good, but I can tell you that there is something that is better than certificates, and that is the discovery of purpose and staying in purpose. Yeah, certificate is good so that you can fit in among your friends and your peers. By the grace of God, without any outer of pride, a lot of schools that I could not afford to go to when I had the opportunity of going to school in my early days, many of those schools, whether locally or internationally, honor me with honorary doctorate degrees today, by the grace of God. But that wouldn't have happened, one, without God, and two, without staying in the center of the purpose of my life. One of the reasons why I want you to know one of the reasons why you are here is this, that among many other needs that has been pointed out by Graham Mansfield, which is real estate, is one of the reasons why you are here. So meaning you can start early. Tell somebody you can start early. Now, you don't need to leave whatever you are doing, your school or your current 8 to 5 job, to do real estate. You can do it at your level where you are. How? What am I saying? You can connect with the organization that put this program together to be one of the salespeople that you can even freelance on the side. Even though he was not educated, but he was able to build 9 houses in Lagos. Now, he built 9 houses, and if he had not done that before he passed on, I'm sure part of my story would have been that I slept under the bridge, because my mother wouldn't have been able to afford to pay the rent for the house when my father was not alive. Now, the saving grace was that he left a roof over our head before he left. Now, years after, one of my neighbors in the estate where I stay in Lagos, they brought his house to me to buy about a few years ago. And so I said, why are they selling their houses? I know them, they are my friends. And so they said, no, they don't own the house, they rented it. I said, no, that house that is made like a mansion, like built like a palace. They said, no, they don't own it. They only spent money to renovate it to their taste. And they had 9 cars, brand new cars, 9. Now, I now compared it and put it in part of my books that my father didn't have a car growing up for me that I know, but he had 9 buildings. And this is somebody who is an elite in this generation, having 9 cars, living in a rented apartment. Which life will you choose? Now, are you aware that 20 years after you have built a house, there's nothing that depreciates about it once it's well maintained? That's the reason why real estate will continue to appreciate in value at all times. There are many people that they will never part with their money in your hands, but the day are selling real estate, that's the day their money will enter your hand. What am I saying? It's very important for you to see how you can maximize the opportunity you have before you today. Now, please, before as we continue, I want to say that in case you like to sell for this organization that brought us here today, please let some of our ushers know so that they can begin to register your name. You want to partner with this organization to sell for this organization real estate in whichever way, whether as a student or as an individual. Please, all the trainings that you need, you will be taught, you'll be given, and I can tell you, you will never regret it. Now imagine selling a property of 100 million, for instance, and having to collect 5% commission on 100 million. That's 5 million naira. I'm sure it's going to do something. Now, I want you to know that every aspect of my education prepared me for real estate in unexpected ways. Go and check the Bible as a Christian, and I'm sure it's in the Quran as a Muslim, that one of the things I saw that people fought for in the scripture was land. Among every other thing, the only thing that God said belongs to Him. He said the house is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and everything in it belongs to God. Now that is land. The house, land, belongs to Him. Meaning, one business that you can do that will make you prosper is real estate. Yes, I love what everyone is doing, and I'm glad that each one of us have to give us a service to be able to make us better in one way or the other. But I'm saying, regardless of what you do, think of how you can match it with real estate. By the grace of God, 1 year of operation as a company called Deal Cleaners Realtors Limited, we build estates, and our niche is 15-20 minutes away from any airport in any country. Meaning, from the airport, you can get to wherever you are going within 15-20 minutes. Now, what does that mean? 1 year of our operation, by the grace of God, we made more than 5 billion in revenue. 1 year. You don't need to make news. You don't need to make noise if you want to make news. You can make news without noise. That's the truth, if you do it right. Please, now I'd like you to know that one thing that is missing among many others in this generation is the power of apprenticeship. Please, wherever God has not put you, don't put yourself there. Humble yourself to learn. I went to learn real estate for 5 years and 3 months as an apprentice. I have seen that in this generation, there are many people who are proud and they have nothing. There is power in being humble and learning from those who have gone ahead of you. I had hands-on experience in real estate. Don't forget, I told you that my background is economics. When I did my MD, it was insurance. When I did another MD, it was marketing. When I did my first degree, it was economics. And the moment I discovered my place of purpose, which is real estate, then I veered into courses that has to do with real estate. So no matter how far you have gone on a road journey, it is never too late to make a U-turn. It means that you can actually be the best regardless of how far you have gone before. So if you need to humble yourself to go and learn and apply as an apprentice in the company that brought us here today, you can actually go and learn. I have seen people who are old enough to be my parents that by the grace of God I will mentor today in the world of real estate. See, it is not in the age, it's in what you have made out with the age. So, please, young people who are here, if older people are doing it, you can learn it. Regardless of whatever you are studying in school, today. Don't forget the power of apprenticeship. You can serve your way to the top by being humble. Service is the key to reaching the top in real estate. Service is the key to reaching the top in real estate. You can add value. You can build a reputation for yourself by learning first. Now, the man who taught me real estate that made me what I am today by the grace of God, I told him, I said, sir, I am sent here to come and learn from you, and I'll be happy. He said, I have nothing to lose. I've been teaching you, because a candle loses nothing when it lights other candles. A candle loses nothing when it lights other candles. Please walk up to people that have gone ahead of you in this hall after the program and connect with them. We are in an Indomie generation. Everybody wants it quick. And that is pride. Because when you jump a class, you will still come back and meet what you jumped in the future. So please, humble yourself and learn. I also want you to know that you don't need $1 billion to start real estate. There is a code on how to start it. I am not one of those motivational speakers that will tell you that you can start, let's say, with $0. I am not one of them. What I will tell you that you need to start is service. Go and learn. By the grace of God, our children today, they have handwork. Even though they are still much younger, the eldest of them is 14. They already know where they are going, and we already put them where they will learn the trade. The first one is the fashion designer, the second one is a cook or a chef, and the third one, 10-year-old, is an ICT professional. And the three of them, they are already doing what they have discovered that they came to do in the world, even though they are in school. Meaning, beyond school certificates, there is another life. That you finish with a first class does not make you to live a first class life. There are men who are first class students who finish with first class, but look at them closely. See, black is not synonymous to lack. That you are a black man does not mean that you should live in lack. No. That you finish from Harvard to Yale does not exempt you from being poor. You just need to unlock the code. And this is one of the things that we have come to do here today. Unlock the code. Stay loyal to mentors, colleagues, and clients that attract loyalty in return. You need to stay loyal to people who have gone ahead of you, who are teaching you, who are showing you the way to go. Please, if you don't go home with anything, I'd like to say that it is important for you to be humble, because if you are not, there's nothing for you to learn. And humility will open the door to success. While I was learning real estate in 2008 from a company called Property Mart under the leadership of Dr. Adeyemi Adeniyi, he told me one day, he said, he calls me Pastor Nayo. He said, Pastor Nayo, please come, can I see you? And he asked me, he said, how many years do you plan to spend or invest in this organization? I told him. He said, is it plus the years you have spent or the ones that you have more? I told him. He said, okay, follow me to my office. I followed him to his office and he said, sign here. I said, sir, what am I signing? He said, just sign. And so I signed. He said, congratulations, you are now a director. And he made a statement I will never forget. He said, Afi wairele joye, meaning he who ascends the throne by humility. You can get to the top of the topmost top by humility. Please don't be proud. I have seen a number of people who are students. One day we went to the personal parade of NYC. We were there to recruit students who were just passing out. in to work with us. And while we were there was a young man I met, and I told him, I said, I heard that you are one of the people that just passed out today. Yes. I said, we'd like to have you interviewed in our organization, and so we can see how we can employ you. You know what he told me? He said, excuse me please, which company is that? I told him. He said, I don't know you before. I don't know I've never heard the name before. I said, that's good. He said, are you aware that I finished with the first class? Yes. I said, thank you for telling us, sir. He said, so I'm thinking we can have a deal if you can come to my house to have an interview for me. I said, I hear you, sir. So my assistant just interjected him and said, hey, young man, do you know who you are talking to? I said, no, please, it is not necessary. I said, let him express himself. And so when it was done, at that point he kept quiet. So I told him, I said, young man, you want to go find life? Just like the mother of Ben Carson told him. He said, Ben, do you want to be great in life? He said, yes. He said, always remain small in your own eyes. I said, so young man, there are many people who finish with, if there's anything more than first class, but they are not living a first class life. I said, reality will show you now that you are finished, that after the 4 walls of the school and NYSC, you know, there's no English for that one, I'm sorry. Kenny Black is here to take me away, but I want to believe that I've been able to pass 1 or 2 messages. Thank you so much. As introduced before now, I'm Dr. Adeyemi Adeniyi, popularly known as the #1 Bishop of Real Estate in Africa and the Managing Director of Deal Clinchers Realtors Limited. We build estates all across different parts of Nigeria, and also our estates are usually 15-20 minutes away from any international airports of any country using the Marriott model. Now, and one thing that makes us stand out is the fact that by His grace, we have given keys to close to about 1,000 people when it comes to houses across Nigeria. And
please join your hands together, ladies and
and
gentlemen.
also raised close to about 100 realtors, not just who are still realtors, but many are transformed from being realtors into being estate developers all across the nations of the world. And we have networks across different parts of Europe, meaning we have branches in London, in Belgium, and in other parts of Africa. My case is, for those who are following me online, who have watched 1 or 2 of my videos, you know that my own case is more spiritual than physical, because real estate didn't find me, I found real estate. Because myself and my fiancée, now my wife, we prayed together that...
Sorry sir, sorry to cut you short. Again, another one of our panelists prayed with his wife.
Yes.
And they found real estate and they have money. Yes. Maybe the reason you are broke is because you are still single.
So we prayed about it. At that time, I was to go for my youth service. And we had about 4 different companies, multinational companies that wanted me for youth service, and the real estate company was the 5th one, even though it was not something I wanted to do. But I've been taking those names to God in prayer, and I'll say this, that one of the reasons why David in the Bible never lost any battle was because it was used to pray prayer of inquiries. Because before he would go for any battle, he will ask God, shall I go or not? So we embraced that in my family. And when we took it to God in prayers, God said it is a real estate company. When I got there, I did not like the place because it didn't look like a place I wanted to stay. But God said that is the place. And I would say that I embraced it humbly. And after 5 years and 3 months, I haven't done my youth service, and it was time for me to go. I was told to stay, and when it was 5 years and 3 months, my boss told me, you have served me well, I'm impressed, and you have done well. I want to send you forth with resources. So by His grace, I was set up to stand on my own. So many mistakes I should have been making now that I'm on my own, I've used this money to make such mistakes. So real estate for me is something that is ordained of God. I was speaking somewhere in Indianapolis in the US a few years ago, and while there as I was talking, I was led to say what I'm saying, that God has raised me as an apostle, as a bishop of real estate in this end time, to go and remove the veil covering the faces of the people who actually work so hard, but they don't have what to show for what they do with money. And as I was saying it, the general overseer of the church, where I was invited to speak to the members, came from behind and brought a jar of oil and was dropping it on my head and said, "This message you are preaching right now, go and preach it round the world." And I got back to Nigeria, and somebody who had never seen me said, "Who anointed you recently?" I said, "That was in the US." He said, "That was an anointing from God. There is a message you were given, go and preach it around the world." Until today, by His grace, this message has gone to more than 30 countries of the world by His grace. Real estate for me, I can be very specific this time to say that I remember that before I came into real estate as led by God, I've made my first million as a student in the university. As a matter of fact, one of my lecturers in the university during my first degree days in Ogun State University seated here. She's a professor in University of Ibadan, Professor Mrs. Saguru. I acknowledge you once again. God bless you, ma.
Thank you very much for joining us, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Can Prof stand up for recognition, please?
Please, we want to see you, ma.
Prof would like to see you.
Yeah, she's sitting at the back.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Prof.
God bless you, ma.
Very much.
She taught me in school, and she saw I was hustling to make life better, and by His grace, I was employing many of my colleagues who were students like me in the university. And someday she told me, she calls me Deacon, way back in school. She said, "Deacon, this money you are making, and you can afford to pay how many staffs in a month? My husband didn't make such before we got married. If you have a family now, you can by His grace be able to take care of them. Think of getting married and settling down." And I said, "I'll work on it." So she actually encouraged me to get married. Now, I made the first 1 million then as a student, that I do not have to depend on my mother again since I lost my father much younger. Now, by the time God brought me to real estate, I saw that I could actually determine how much I'm going to go home with. Now, on a particular occasion, one of my lead engineers told me, he said, "Sir, I know you like to live a very modest life and a coded life." He said, "But I want to be able to introduce you, as my boss when you arrive." I said, "Well, what do you want from me?" He said, "I want you to buy an exotic car that when you are, people will see that you have come." I said, "Okay, I'm not going to put any pressure on the company or on the company. So I'm going to make a sale, and from my commission, I can do that." And by His grace, within 1 month, my commission on that particular sale, by His grace, I put a G-Wagon.
Whoa.
Just the commission on a sale.
G-Wagon.
So by the time we now had a business meeting in Osborne, Ikoyi, and we went there with the G-Wagon. So I told my pilot, I said, "Let's go and pick the engineer so we can go together." So when we got to where he was, he said, "Wow." He said, "So within a month?" I said, "No, just calm down." I said, "It is from a sale made. This is a commission." We went for the business meeting, and so the Alhaji we went to meet in Ikoyi decided to accompany us out, because in most cases when you go for business meeting, people want to walk you up to your car so they can know your worth before they can give you a good business that has about 9 figures when you are writing the figure. So he came out and walked us to the car, and he said, "I'm a little bull," meaning this ones cannot run away with money. and my engineer tapped me, said, "Did you see what I told you?" I said, "I knew it, but I know that I needed to work for it." So meaning that real estate can determine your take home every month. So 1, 2, all prominent people that I've met across the nations of the earth, I didn't meet them outside the grace of God, but through real estate. Now, I remembered one day, I was saying this in one of my books. You find it on social media. I told you, Ken Black already announced it. I'm on all social media platforms, Dr. Adeyemi Adeniyi, Adeyemi Adeniyi. You find me, you can follow me. You see some of my stories. I contemplated suicide many years ago when I was not sure of what life has got for me. But something happened. I didn't know that, okay, why did I want to commit suicide in the first place? Because I wanted to travel abroad. Now, but I didn't know that what I was looking for abroad was actually above, not abroad. Now, that country I wanted to kill myself for going, for those who want to Japa. Now, when I enter that country today, by the grace of God, when they stamp my passport, when they stamp my passport at the border, they will put VVIP there, and that's London, by His grace. It wouldn't have happened without real estate. I said that by His grace, I was given highest honorary award by the US President Joe Biden, and I've been given a letter from the White House to come say thank you to him before he leaves office. And recently I was nominated for another award of an honorary citizenship of the United States. It wouldn't have happened without real estate. So let me stop there, but of course with God first. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeniyi. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.